Well, hello there. It's me, Harold, the puppet, and you are watching Shootin'. I don't curse, so shootin' poop. Yeah.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode number 53 of Shootin' Shit. As you can see, it's a two-man crew today. You got DDJ, you got myself, the hot one, Javine Too Hottie. We're missing Joey K, who...
He's off playing Super Dad today, I think, as of when we're recording this.
Rumors are he's out playing Super Dad. I don't know. You know how those people from Philly are. But he is having Daddy Day, so good for him, enjoying his Saturday with the family, because we are recording a little later than normal today. Peek behind the curtain there. But, man, I missed a lot last week, and as y'all saw, I was part of that little bit of a rumble. We might touch on that. We might touch on, all out experiences.
I want to get to the insight and how you managed to sneak back in there, how you managed to get involved in that fight, and how you managed to be the last man standing.
What we'll get into, we'll get into that on this episode. Let's go.
Toy Story 3, 12 years later, that incinerator scene, man, it still gets me. And that ending, still a tearjerker.
Toy Story 3, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pull at the heartstrings, and I'm going to pull at the heartstrings all out, I guess what they're calling officially the Brawl Out. Afterward.
I like that. Trademark that.
Trademarked it, the Brawl Out. Man, all the craziness going on. Of course, you had Kenny Omega there to save Larry, and there could only be one person to walk away from that completely unscathed, and that had to be yours truly, because I did not get suspended.
My hero.
No suspensions from AEW, not a scratch on me, and I walked away to be able to tell everybody what really happened.
Even more importantly, no suspension from the Johners Podcasting Network, of which this show is a very big part of. We love you. We love the Johners Podcasting Network.
Very true. I wonder if the Johners, if they would have seen the altercation, if I would have. Anyway, I'm still not suspended. That's fantastic. Sometimes when the stuff's going down, you just need to start throwing elbows, and it's not all about who gets caught, but who walks away. So that's the gist of that. There was chairs flying, people biting, dogs saving, and just super kicks through the door. I've never seen a human foot come through a door like that before, which was pretty amazing. But
and kind of going back a little bit to our weekend, we saw enough doors get broken.
It did have a very GCW feel to it. It's just minus all the blood. There was biting, but there was no blood.
And no light tubes.
Oh, geez. I liked how you put it, because I think you scared some people on your timeline because you put the sound of a fluorescent light tube. What was it?
Oh, man. I just put something along the lines like something about the sound of a fluorescent light tube hitting someone in the head or something. Because you got to admit, it's a really unique sound. Like it's not like the sound of a chair, not like something going through it. I mean, it's just a really unique sound.
It is a weird combine of a pop and glass breaking. that it's
Like a
just
poof,
like,
it's like a pop, a glass break, and then like a poof or something like that.
yep. Ah, jeez, Louises. Okay.
Hey, so before we kind of get into things, since you missed last week, talk about your experience All Out weekend.
All Out weekend, man. It was one of the funner All Outs for one of the worst All Outs that I've been to. I've been to all of them. I haven't missed an All Out yet, and dating back to All In, but this was the funnest one. Got to see a lot of cool people, man. I met your friends, Sean, Pat, Clifford. I mean, it was a little bit of just like really a cool experience that we
And
had.
and since you mentioned Clifford, let's give a shout out to Clifford for being gracious enough to invite us to kind of hang out in his suite for the show.
Hell yeah, that's where I was getting to, man. It was an experience with him opening up his suite level for us. That was an amazing experience in itself. Um I think the company was better than the show. The company made the show better than what it really was, because after I watched it back, I was like, "Oh, this was not a good pay-per-view." Um,
Yes, it especially got wild in the suite during that acclaimed match.
look, that weekend, and this is why I love pro wrestling. I went one night from chanting "Bussy, Bussy, Bussy" to chanting "Oh, Scissor Me, Daddy." And where else can
Oh,
you do that?
scissor me, Dad.
And if
Oh
they
my!
make that a shirt, I'm getting it for all of us.
They did make the shirt. Remember?
They need to make it available for sale. I checked AEW shop and it's not up.
Oh, you know what? I think I heard, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's an exclusive for, at least for right now. They said it's supposed to be an exclusive for Arthur Ashe.
No, well, that's a bitch move. Um, Pro Wrestling Tees, get on that bullshit. No, I'm just joking. You know what? No, let me shoot real quick. Pro Wrestling Tees, fuck you guys, man. As much as we spin there, fucking Ryan Barkman, even though he's like DDJ said hi to you at the fucking thing, fuck you guys. Because you only go to AEW events with like 2 fucking 5Xs, and I was the first fucking person at a show and didn't even have the size. They're like, "Oh yeah, we didn't carry it today." Fuck you guys. Wrestling fans are big people. And then I can't get the fucking "I was there" because I don't want a small. Kiss my ass. Anyway, back to
I would like to let everybody out there know that statement was purely reflected of the Hot One Giovanni Too Hottie, and it's not reflective of the rest of us here at Shooting Shit or the Johners Podcasting
you're
Network.
damn right that's all on me. Fucking carry shirts, man. How fucking you're a t-shirt company. Fucking make shirts. Fucking order shirts and don't get the one I want because it has to be fucking order online. Fuck you guys.
You know what? You know what? I don't want to get in any hot water because I got a good thing going with them. I actually want to give a shout out to the customer support team over at Pro Wrestling Tees, because at Rampage on that Friday night before the show, I bought an FTR hoodie that they were selling there. And I asked for it in 3X because like you, I'm a bigger guy. I'm working on it. As of my last weighing, I'm down about 16 and a half pounds. So I'm slimming down. My 3X shirts don't feel like they're form fitting anymore. But I got the hoodie and I asked for it in a 3X, and then I went to go try it on a few days ago, and I realized that they actually gave me a 2X, and this was at the show. So I contacted customer support, and they're actually they're righting the wrong, and they're going to be sending me out a properly sized hoodie. And then just next time I stop by the store, I just have to bring them the one that I got, which I would more than happy to do. So I'm
that's
going to give
that's
it.
that's nice if you live in Chicago. It really is if you live in the Chicagoland area. But here's my issue. And I you're a good person. You're gonna give the props because they're gonna make it right. But dude, I spend a lot of money to go to AEW events. I go to a lot of AEW events. I only have one shirt that fucking says I was there because I was number one at the merch stand. I had a day that they specifically had a 5X shirt. They only had one and I got it. I've been number one at the merch stand 3 times. I've only gotten one shirt that says I was there. And fuck, bro, you guys charge us so much extra for the 5Xs. I get the additional cost, but I'm getting fucking up the ass with the additional cost. At least have the shirts for me at the venue. It's not
You know,
like it's cheaper.
I'm beginning to wonder. Are you like
Mm.
is did the spirit of the premier Joey K like infiltrate your body or something? Because this sounds more like a Joey K rant.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot on him too because I heard his CM Punk apology, fucking CM Punk empathizer on the last episode. We are not doing that, Joey
Oh.
K, and hiding behind it with the I like the Bucks too at the end. No, we don't do that. We're not apologizing for CM Dump. I'm gonna get on that in a minute. But go ahead, DDJ. I'm sorry. Do your
No, man,
props to.
I'm liking this. You're coming out the gate spitting all kinds of fire and venom.
I had a whole week to think about it all.
But no, man, dude, I just to kind of cap off your little bit of a weekend recap, man. It was just like you said, yeah, easily the best part of the show, and this is the best part of going to any wrestling show outside of the action. It's just, when you go with your friends, or hell, even if you go by yourself, because you're guaranteed if you go by yourself to like eventually make a friend or have someone to talk to during the show, which is
Dude.
awesome. It's like you really don't get that anywhere else. I don't think you get that like a football game. Pro wrestling's, I think, the only sport or event place where you can go and just literally sit down and like not even make through the end of the first match, you've already made like a friend.
Find somebody with the same shirt that you have on. You've got something in common right there.
Yeah.
But dude, how good was that GCW fucking match though? The card that we were at, the Art of War.
For not really, I mean, outside of, the main talents like the Briscoes, Mance Warner, who was like our guy, the eye poke god, the Southern psychopath, and a cool ass dude who we all got to meet and get pictures with and stuff.
Fucking awesome guy.
And that, but it just not knowing like the majority of the men and women that were competing on there, man, I still just was hooked. Just from the start of that 2-ring 7-man ladder scramble match with like where they all started out with a can of beer.
It was for a box of PBR also. It was for the title and a box of PBR.
Hey, there you go. But then just from that to seeing the two women like literally, go out there and, not only wrestle, but bleed like the men. And then the really tall girl, I can't think of what her name is, but I mean, after that, she went over, she was out at the merch stand after the show. Still, you could tell hadn't showered or anything, and not only that, and seeing like Alley Catch go hang with the guys in that War Games match. And I mean, it wasn't like they were taking it easy on her either.
No, Alley Catch is a badass, bro.
But it's just that all in all, but the biggest complaint, and I think anybody who was at that show that might be listening to this or that we know would agree, was that it was fucking stuffy and hot as hell in there, because that place had no fans, no kind of ventilation or anything.
And that's, you know what, I fight myself on this because I think that's part of the thing with indie wrestling. I think that's you get a feel of a real indie show when you're sweating balls watching a match and you're trying not to pass out and you're having to drink a beer to cool back down. Shit, that screams indies to me.
Though, but you could get that feeling, because I actually had that feeling at both AEW Dynamite and Rampage, because I was out down on the floor for both of those shows, and it felt like, we were kind of stacked on top of each other with really no room to breathe or anything, and that made it uncomfortably warm and stuff. But
shout out to Ty at GCW for separating all the chairs so we'd have breathing room.
Yes, Ty is the man. Like if you anybody, and that was the best, and that was one thing I also wanted to touch on and stuff, and then we can maybe start getting into, what we're going to talk about on this week's show. But it was just nice because you mentioned, all the, my friends that you met for the first time. And like the best part is, and we can't forget about my boy Brandon and his girl Jackie, and his buddy Nico and his girl, and, everybody that was in the suite with us and stuff, because I mean, it's just a lot of people. Yeah. Literally, when we talk about how it got crazy in the suite during the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory, we literally were scissoring each other nonstop.
We had like a 4-way scissor train going at one point.
but kind of going back, it was so cool seeing like all these people that I knew kind of meeting up for the first time, and then just acting like everybody had known each other for like a really long time, because that's what it felt like. It's like seeing you interact with my buddy Sean, and and that and stuff, just because it made me smile.
It was fun, man. Sean's good people. I like Sean.
I do
Pat
too,
too.
man.
Pat's quiet, and I think that's funny because he kind of balances you guys out.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a peek behind the curtain into my personal life. Sean, Pat, and I, along with my cousin Jerry, who you have not met yet, who hopefully one day you will, because you will love him. We kind of got this little four-man group. We call ourselves, the Horsemen. We're in a little chat, our Facebook Messenger chat called, the Bone Street Crew, homage to Undertaker and his boys and stuff. And it's just because we've kind of gotten that, relationship that's gone from like a friendship to more like a brotherhood. Jerry's a distant cousin of mine, but I always think of him as like the brother that I never had, that I always wanted. I mean, I have a brother, and I get along with him and I love my brother, but it's just, it's not the type of brother I always wanted, and stuff, just because Jerry and I have a lot in common. But it's amazing what this kind of stuff turns into. And Pat, he definitely balances us out, but he's kind of one of those guys that give him some time. Once he opens himself up a little bit, you really like him even that much more. And I got a really good story about him, but I don't think he would mind, but I want to talk to him first before I tell you the story. So, because it's a funny one.
Well, that's a lot of peek behind the curtain, that you guys know. But when we get together, it's an amazing time. Everybody that listens to the show, we appreciate you all. People that I ran into at the damn show at All Out was amazing. To the people I didn't get to see this time, some of the friends that I've made out there, man, I will catch y'all next time. This time up there, I wasn't solo, so I couldn't really make all my trips around town to see people that I normally would see.
Did you get a chance to see AJ when him and his crew were up?
I didn't, man. I didn't get to see AJ. I didn't see Jordan. I didn't get to see Hector. I didn't see what the hell's Demon's real name? Jonathan. I didn't get to see Danny, which sucked because I was wanting to go to Danny Hernandez. Shout out, friend of mine. I was wanting to go to his Panera because he works at Panera, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got to come try this out." I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll go." But for those of y'all who knew, I wasn't there alone in Chicago that weekend, so we kind of got stuck doing other things, and it was weird. It was a fun experience.
Yeah, I'm just sad that I never got a chance to meet Mama Jovan.
Yeah, shoot, that lady had a great time too. She enjoyed her little outing.
Good.
Talk about Road Warrior, man. As soon as she picked me up from that damn Now Arena, we just hit it straight back to started the drive back.
I was shocked when you told me about that like she was, because we were trying to figure out a way to get you back to the hotel and stuff. And I was kind of worried that because I told you I wasn't going to be able to do it because I had to get Sean back to my house so he could get home and stuff. I mean, I had a plan in place for you because Pat was actually going to take you, but then when you messaged me like, "Oh, we're leaving right after the show," I'm like, "Damn, she's hardcore."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I couldn't get done what I needed to get done, so I need to make it to the house in time for me to work a little." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay." Funny thing is, when we were shooting back, we passed by the city that Sean lives in, and I was like, "Oh, Sean lives there," so that was funny.
Yeah, he's actually if you took 57 down, south and stuff, if you went past 50, you're literally, I want to say his house is maybe less than 10 minutes from that exit. Like, so you were really close to Sean down there.
Well, damn. Let's see. What do we want to hit on first for this episode?
We spent a lot of time talking about AEW All Out. I mean, there's some AEW stuff to talk about. Let's talk about the big news that came out yesterday concerning Crown Jewel.
Crown Jewel. The main event is allegedly set, and it looks like it's going to be for the Universal Championship from day one, your tribal chief is going to defend against. Give me a worthy competitor, Logan Paul.
Wah, wah, wah. And I want to say before we kind of talk, it's no disrespect to Logan Paul because both Jovan and I have gone on record on this show after when we reviewed WrestleMania and when we talked about SummerSlam, we were very, very complimentary on those performances by Logan Paul because he can go.
Yeah.
He's proven that he can go. He's proven he's willing to be that he's taking the time. He's putting in the work. But it's just I get why they're doing this. It is a Saudi show, so this is probably something the Saudi prince wanted.
Yeah.
But this is let's not kid ourselves here. This is a cash grab.
Yeah, it makes no storyline sense. Hell, I think we even saw Logan Paul said he was retiring from WWE so he can box, and then now he's back.
He's probably when you probably are going to wind up getting the kind of money he's going to get from doing this, I'd probably do the exact same thing he did if I was capable of doing it.
Yeah, I don't fault him for doing it, but
I don't either.
At a certain point, I kind of fault the WWE because, damn it, I know they make a lot in Saudi Arabia, and I know it's probably like their biggest cash grab. This is what really keeps the clock ticking. But
they easily make more money in one of these shows than they probably do a lot of every other show, including WrestleMania.
But you have to be like, guys, for the quality of our content, I don't want to put fucking Logan Paul out there against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, it's just to me when I heard this was announced, I don't remember if it was with you guys or just one of my other chats or just in a Facebook group or something. I feel like WWE since Triple H has taken over creative and Steph has stepped up as co-CEO with Nick Khan. Yeah, I was thinking that too. But it felt like they've made so many strides in terms of improving the product and kind of like getting back the hardcore fans who had maybe gone to turn to AEW. And now we're talking a month and a half, I want to say, that this new regime has been in charge. And I just feel like that this is something that, again, this is probably was a call from the Saudi prince because a lot of times he has ultimate say on who's wrestling, who and stuff because he's paying for this show. But I feel like this here it's kind of the classic case of the old song, Paul Abdul, opposites attract, 2 steps forward, then 2 steps back.
I'll take 2 steps forward. Yeah, I got you. 2 steps back. Anyway.
Yeah, but but I don't think this is going to be like a dud or a stinker because, again, Logan Paul has proven he can go. And I expect this to be a halfway decent, maybe to a very good match. But it's just the sheer thought that there's a chance that this night could end with Logan Paul, even though most likely it probably won't. There's still this chance that, we could be hearing at the end of the night and new. And that scares the what out of me. It scares the shit out of me. Or as Johnny Gargano would say, the poop.
Poop. Got him. But dude, came out the nose, didn't it? Yeah.
No. I had my mouth over just so because I was literally right in front of my laptop and it would have went all over my laptop if I didn't.
It's fantastic. But yeah, man, I think that's what gives me anxiety because it's not something that is outside of the realm of possibility. I could super duper see Logan Paul getting the rub for one night, maybe a week, and then Roman getting it back, and they're like, oh, they've done bullshit before where they're like, it didn't count, it's taken off the record books.
Well, and it's just the one thing that really scares me is that it's being reported out there is is that they're looking for a way to get one of the two titles off of Roman, and that's kind of why like I'm really kind of like apprehensive.
Yeah, I don't. I hope it's not Logan Paul. I mean, you could have done it with Drew McIntyre, and it made all the story sense in the world. But you know, that's us fans. We're booking from the house, and we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Apparently,
You know, I like with everything, all the good that Hunter has done with everything, and we're going to not only talk about his influence in the WWE, but we're also going to get into NXT 2.0 and just a little bit about this and what's going on there. I want to say, like, you know what, I've said because I've said this a lot about Tony Khan. That, like, you know what, I'm gonna put my trust in the Tony Khan that he's gonna deliver, and more often than not, Tony Khan has delivered.
this is true.
I kind of feel like at this point in time, like I said, a month and a half in, with everything that he's done since he's taken over creative, I'm gonna give Triple H, like, you know what, I'm gonna put my trust in him that he's good. He's I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
All right. Hopefully he doesn't misplace your trust. I'm scared though. Money speaks. Money talks and bullshit walks. I think that's the old time saying. All right. Let's get off of this because it's literally giving me anxiety.
You want to talk about anxiety, man? A little bit of a peek behind the curtain. Last night, I went went out with another peek behind the curtain of my life. I went out with the wife. We went and saw children's musical production of Footloose, and they kicked all forms of ass. It was really good. But we went out for pizza afterwards, and we get in. It's about, I want to say maybe 10:30, something like that. At night. Place closes at midnight. No, we're getting there, eating our pizza, and then literally, they must have had a football game at this high school. It's like maybe about 10 minutes south of where we were at, because literally we look over and next thing you know, the whole place fills up. And of course, I'm sitting, we're sitting in a booth in the corner, and next thing you know, the booth behind us gets filled up with about 7 or 8 kids. And I'm thinking, son of a bitch. And stuff. So, and then just, we felt so crammed. I was like, my anxiety was starting to, and it's the first time I probably in all the years I've been with my wife that I've had like a little bit of an anxiety, attack or something like that. She's like, you get those? And I'm like, yeah, every once in a while, believe it or not. Sorry, I just kind of went off on the tangent there because you talked about your anxiety. So
fantastic. I love it.
Oh man. So wait, you know what? Do we want to talk about the other WWE brand out there?
Yeah, let's go ahead. I think we make a solid transition here because we talked about H. Let's hit up NXT White and Gold, because it's not going to be black and gold. The new logo, white and gold.
It's not going to be 2.0.
It's not 2.0. We're getting rid of the Nickelodeon bullshit. White and gold, man. What are actual expectations? Don't give me the Mark answer that it's black and gold 2.0. What are we thinking?
Well, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to hear that from me. And there's a lot of people out there that are thinking that's what we're going to get. But it's so obvious that we're not going to get it. And the reason why is because literally a lot of the talent that made up that NXT black and gold era that everybody, holds in such high regard and loves so much, they're wrestling elsewhere. I mean, you've got Keith Lee, you've got Swerve Strickland, you've got Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, who's out injured. You can't say Bobby Fish because Bobby Fish is a free agent. Most likely, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back. But there's a lot of the guys out there that carried that NXT black and gold brand that are under contract elsewhere. What I think we're going to get is we're going to get a mixture. Like, we're going to get a blend, or because I'm on a bit of I've been on a bit of a smoothie kick with my, my diet and stuff. It's going to be like an NXT smoothie. We're going to take part of NXT black and gold, and we're going to take part of NXT 2.0, going to throw it in a blender, hit the button, watch it all mix together and stuff. And I think that's a really good thing, because NXT 2.0, while it's gotten a lot of criticism and some of it is warranted, it's there's been some very good bright spots coming. I mean, talk about Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Toxic Attraction, Roxanne Perez, who I know you're a big fan of, Cora Jade. I mean, there's a lot of like really good talent to come out of NXT 2.0 and stuff. But I'm intrigued. Like I'm anxious to see. They taped, I believe, a couple weeks worth of NXT episodes in advance, so maybe they're finally getting out of that whatever they called it, the performance, whatever they were calling this, were the shows where they were broadcasting NXT out of. And thank God, because I'm just getting tired of seeing the same people in the crowd every week. and it's just because it's like you see the same people every week and stuff. It's like okay, like it just, there's more out there. Like it just, I just feel like shows like that would benefit so much more from like getting out there and going from different arenas versus the same place every week.
Yeah, it kind of felt like this was a studio production of NXT. It's NXT 2.0, bring your family day. And you don't get a true wrestling crowd like that if it's just the same people over and over and over. You have a watered down version of a crowd. Normally crowds are rough and rowdy, but that depends on city to city. You don't get that when it's just the same people every week.
Yeah, and I mean, those fans are just as passionate as fans as you and I are and stuff. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like it gets to the point. It's like, okay, you see them rooting for this, like, and I feel like it's getting to the point where the fans are like trying to take over the show because they're so used to kind of being on TV and featured every week. So hey, let's not focus on getting the talents over. Let's get ourselves over, and that's kind of where I have a problem with a lot of these crowds.
Yeah, I agree. 110%. Um, I like what you brought up, man. 2.0 for its faults did have some good spots. It did have some bright spots.
And there is actually one person that I failed to mention who I think we really need to talk about, because not only is he making a name for himself in NXT, but he's also now a part of the bloodline on the main roster. And that's our brand new NXT North American champion, Solo Sikoa, who made his main roster debut by helping Roman beat Drew at Clash at the Castle and stuff, and he just won the NXT North American Championship this past Tuesday on I guess you could call it the season finale of NXT 2.0. And he was actually on, from what I haven't had a chance to watch, but from what I understand, he was actually on SmackDown and defended that title. And I love the fact that the NXT North American title is getting defended on a WWE main roster show.
Oh yeah, it's a good call with Solo. Solo should have been up with his family a long time ago, man. He's adding a new wrinkle to this bloodline. Maybe they do something with him and Sammy, since you've got an actual member of the bloodline and Sammy's the proverbial odd man out.
Redheaded stepchild.
Exactly. So we'll see what they do with it. But I mean, I like what you said. 2.0, it wasn't terrible. Was it unbearable, unwatchable at times? Yes, because it was a little campy at times. But the wrestlers themselves still had some good talent. You take the talent aspect, and change it back to a black and gold kind of feel, which I think is what they're going to be going for with this white and gold reboot. And I think you may have it. Because NXT, yes, while they were struggling against AEW, NXT was still the best watchable product that WWE had at that time.
It's just they happen to go up against the upstart AEW. I mean, as a new company, everybody's going to tune in to check them out and stuff. And I mean, and you also got to remember too, this was NXT. This wasn't a WWE main roster show. This was basically the WWE's AAA affiliate going up against the AEW.
Yeah, and then that's what WWE claims is like, oh, they beat our developmental brand. Well, your developmental brand, if you want to call it that, at that time had the best wrestling that you were putting on. So I hate to tell you, but they beat your best product that you had. Right now, Raw and SmackDown have been hitting on all cylinders since Triple H took over, which makes me even more excited that this NXT reboot's going to be successful because Triple H is going to get back into the storytelling the way he was doing originally. He's going to get back to building these stars from nothing. Because, I mean, who remembers Alexa Bliss's cheerleader character? Only the marks who want that 8x10 sign because she's in a cheerleader costume.
That would be me.
See? Who remembers, can't laugh at that. Come on.
I'm sorry, but
That's me. Oh, okay. But that's the thing is, Becky Lynch is not the Becky Lynch that she was in NXT now.
not the steampunk, person.
Yeah, and I love the steampunk Lynch to be awesome. To be honest, the Irish lass kicker was badass.
Absolutely.
You don't have the same to even go to say it's not the same Sasha Banks whenever she does make her return. She's not the same Sasha Banks as she was in NXT when she first started cutting that character. So there's a lot of good to be able to have people go out there, start to cut their character together, put it together, make who they want to be, and you see that progression week after week after week, and that's what gets you invested into these people because you see them when they're here and how they grow. To me, that's why people get so enamored with wrestling and talent, specifically like your big names. Honestly, I don't think The Rock is as over as he was if we don't get Rocky Johnson, if we don't get Rocky Maivia, excuse me, if we don't get Rocky Maivia, you don't care that, this blue collar, third generation, over face that they're trying to push down your throats goes to the Nation of Domination, starts turning on the crowd. Everybody who was saying, die, Rocky, die, he's coming back and say, no, fuck you. And then the crowd's with them because, holy crap, this kid has an edge. And they've seen that evolution from white meat babyface all the way to this heel character. And he becomes one of the biggest of all time because you took that journey with him. And that's what NXT did, is they gave you that ability to have that journey. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Like I said, I think at this point in time, I think Hunter's earned the right to, to be given the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball at you, but we'll save it to a little bit closer to the end of the show. It's going to be something we haven't thought we weren't going to discuss because it wasn't on our shoot list, but you know what? I'm going to throw a curveball at the end. So where are we going to go to next? AEW?
Yeah, let's go back to AEW again.
Going back to AEW, we have a new champion being crowned soon, and there have been title elimination matches that have been amazing.
Yep.
Sammy Guevara's match with Mox was really good.
Yes, it was.
Danielson, Jericho,
it was better than their match at All Out, that's for sure.
For something that we just saw at All Out, I wasn't really expecting much out of it, but damn, they performed.
Yep.
Yeah, I have my feelings on how this should go. What are you thinking on it?
In terms of who I think is going to win?
On who is going to win, yes, at Arthur Ashe.
So this is going to be kind of the case of, I don't know if this is going to be who I want to win versus who I think is going to win, because it's I've been going back and forth, like literally, because I have, I think I have good points to make for both Mox and Danielson to, kind of walk away as champion. After, I've been pretty, the last few weeks, there's one of these two guys is really just, I felt stepped up his game and really carried the company through a lot of turmoil. And this is even and stuff, and this is even, before the, the post media scrum brawl that, wound up getting all those guys suspended. And I mean, this guy's been carrying that company on his back since the summer when Punk first got hurt. And that's Jon Moxley. Like, to me, Mox has become the consummate professional. He's become a locker room leader. I believe he was it was him, Danielson, and Jericho who called that talent meeting for the Dynamite after All Out, kind of said, hey, kind of rein everybody in line. And he also decided, because he was set to go on vacation after All Out. I believe it was like 6 weeks is what I heard. But he's like, you know what? No, my job needs me, and he basically postponed his vacation to kind of stick around and help Tony and the guys out through this time and stuff. And to me, that's a good guy right there. Like, that man needs to be paid when his contract's up. He needs a raise. He deserves a raise. He should get a raise and stuff. And I mean, you know what? He's carried the company through some really tough times, and that's why I feel like that's his case for kind of hanging on to winning the AEW title Wednesday. And also too, this whole thing with MJF being factored in the equation, because MJF's promo, he spent a lot of time talking about Mox during the promo. I don't think he really acknowledged Danielson or Jericho, who had yet to fight. So it kind of made me believe that, and that's kind of why another point where I think Mox is going to win. But then you have Danielson, who's, hasn't had a chance with the gold yet. He's still incredibly over with the crowd. And I mean, if MJF really wants to get that heel heat, I feel like, if he takes it off of Danielson, a few weeks at Full Gear or whenever after Danielson wins the belt, I mean, that's going to just get him some monster heat. But if you're asking me right now are you going to ask me to make an official prediction of who I'm thinking I'm going to take?
Yes.
Give me 1 second here. I just got to reach over here and I'm going to show you something. So you see this here? This is an AEW championship. I'm going to let you zoom in a little bit and kind of give you a little bit of a spoiler there.
All right, Jon Moxley.
That is my pick. As I think both guys have a legit say or claim to the title, but right then and there the belt says it all. I'm going with Mox as my pick to become a 3-time AEW champion.
I like the pick, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the pick. I think Mox, for right now is deserving. If anything, just because of what he's done for the company, right? He's gone in, he's done the title eliminator tournament. He was supposed to be taking time off. He carried us throughout the Punk injury. He had that quick turnaround, drop and loss. And that's going to be the reason why I don't want him to win. I don't want to have another quick turn on Jon Moxley. I don't want to have another quick drop off of Jon Moxley, because Moxley had the title and then lost it to Punk at All Out. Unless you don't count that a unification as a title win and consider him the actual champion the whole time, then he just lost it to Punk. There was no quick win and then lost. But anyway, it depends on how you see things. I don't want Moxley to drop the belt quickly, because that does a disservice to him as a champion.
And that's kind of one of the concerns I have about him, because I feel about him winning this match. Because I feel like whoever wins this match, like, I feel like if Mox wins this, he needs to have, like, they need to hold off on this MJF match, because I think Mox needs a legit run with this title. Like, he needs a few months. Carry it to, we'll say, Revolution, or maybe even Double or Nothing. So we're talking at this point in time, if we go Double or Nothing, it'll be an 8-month reign. And I think that then, you pull the trigger on MJF, maybe at Double or Nothing and stuff, and give him the belt there.
Yeah, and then I think they screwed themselves here with the whole CM Punk bullshit, which is part of my issue with CM Punk, because you could clearly see the storyline lining up at All Out. Punk wins. They announced before the Punk win that the next big show is going to be in Newark, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And MJF has always said he's Piper in Portland. Well, no, don't say Piper in Portland. Say MJF in Jersey. And
he's a Long Island boy.
We were supposed to get that. That was his moment. That would have been his moment to take the belt. It would have made sense.
And you had the whole pre-existing storyline with Punk and MJF that had that amazing dog collar match that you got to see live.
Yeah. It was all there, and this is what hurts the show and the product, and why another reason why I can't fully say that CM Punk is blameless, because everything we had lined up to that point just got dumped in the trash. Everything we were working to, everything that you could see the cards starting to fall into place, is now just dumped. And what are you going to do? Are you going to rob Danielson of his first ever reign and make it a quick one so we can continue with our plans for MJF? Or are you going to rob Moxley of his third reign to give it to MJF? Or are you going to rob MJF, who has been working one of the longest storylines in AEW without working the
Which
storyline?
back when everything went down, I said, watch this. I said, this is a work.
I think it was a work shoot. But
I'll give you that.
But that was something that had some of the longest build. Everybody started wondering where he was, and now he comes back, and we have to throw that away because somebody had a little issue and decided to say some bullshit at a
Go into
media
business for
scrum.
himself.
Yeah, and for somebody who's claiming that he doesn't like people who go into business for themselves, he's a locker room leader, bullshit, and you know he's there to put over the younger talent. No, because the youngest talent that you could have put over, the best talent, the future that you could have put over, isn't going to get that rub because you screwed up the whole plans.
Yeah. You know what? I want to ask you real quick because you got a chance to talk earlier about your experience and all. What do you think about how they the MJF return, starting from the casino ladder match to like basically what started the show to the end of the show? What was your take on that?
The ending of the casino ladder match went over like a wet fart. People hated the fact that a masked unknown person won the casino ladder match, which to me, going back and looking at it live, I didn't really pick up on the small things, but watching it back, I did. You could see the MJF movement.
A little bit of a peek behind the curtain because you and I kind of basically sat together in the suite at the show the whole night.
We did.
What did I tell you that I thought was behind that mask?
You thought it was MJF.
Okay. Just putting it out there.
So, which when it was live, it was kind of hard to tell because I mean you don't get that close up of seeing the way he walked.
Yeah, because of where we were at. I mean, we had that TV in our suite, which was you don't even get me started on that TV that we had in there.
It was not 4K.
It was not. It wasn't even HD. I don't think.
It wasn't even 1080p.
Which is HD.
Yeah.
It wasn't even 4. It was maybe 480p.
It was 480p. Oh, it was terrible. It was. I've seen computer screens with better resolution than that TV.
I've seen CRT TVs with better picture. And for you youngins out there who are asking yourselves, what's a CRT? Remember those big old TVs that your mama and daddy used to have back in the day that had the big, that were like bulky? That's CRT TV.
That's a CRT.
Little history lesson for the youngins.
Yeah.
I just said that.
The old man of shooting shit, DDJ, wants you to get off his yard.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm not because I am the oldest person on this show.
But yeah, I think the MJF reveal got better as the night went on, especially with the voice recording that played right before he came out.
I love the fact that I will say shout out to TK for getting get paid to doling out the money to get the Stones to license out sympathy for the devil for when he came out with the mask on.
Yes.
And one thing I thought of, I don't know if I told you this or not, but you know what the guy when he was in the mask, you know who that reminded me of?
Who?
You played Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4.
Oh,
the mask guys, that were part of the one dude's gang.
The demons, yeah.
Yes, that's what he looked like. He looked like a demon, like Flunky from the Spider-Man game.
Oh, that's a good one. But yeah, I think it went over real well once we got the reveal. But like I said, that's all thrown away because of what's happened. We don't know now. Do they still pull the trigger with MJF? How long were they going to have MJF hold it? Because, I mean, in reality, if you delay his push now and call it because of what's happened, his heel heat won't be as big as it is now until right before 2024 when...
Because we don't know if he signed. We don't know if he signed if he came back and he signed an extension.
Exactly. And see, that's what kills it so bad. Because if legitimately Newark is going to be in a few months, right? November-ish.
Yeah, so you got about 2 months, maybe a little less than 2 months.
We could have gone a full 2023 with MJF as champion, touting, I'm champion now until 2024 when you're going to have to pay me even more to stay here. But now, poof.
Yeah, it goes to show you, and this is like the last I'm personally going to talk about this thing because I think it's been talked to death. Joey K and I talked about it a bit on last week's show and stuff, but it goes to show you that sometimes you really need to sit back, and especially when you're, a part of a team, which is what these wrestlers are. It's just not, CM Punk. It's just not, the Bucks or Kenny and stuff. It's basically it's a team thing, and it just goes to show you how much of an effect that this fight has had on not only the men that were directly involved in this, but the people like the MJF, like the John Moxley, like the Chris Jericho, because I believe Jericho was set to take some time away too.
Yep.
And stuff, and he went on the show, so it goes to show you that, and it's just sometimes where you have your points of view and things and stuff, but sometimes you got to take a step back and think to yourself, is what I'm about to do, is this going to benefit, my crew, the people that, look to me as a leader, or whatever.
Well, it's true. Last topic we have for today, before I hit you with the random one that we shouldn't take too long on, is video games. Of course, Kenny Omega, currently suspended from AEW, is out in Japan right now, demoing and showing off the new AEW Fight Forever. There are rumors swirling that sometime today we might get an update with the release date officially of the game. The game has been out now for pre-order on Amazon. It did hit pre-order for GameStop. So it looks like we're getting closer and closer to having this game in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, since we don't have a lot of AEW Fight Forever news, I want to ask you, DDJ, what's your favorite wrestling game?
Ooh, there is, for one of the things too, that's synonymous with pro wrestling is video games, because there are a lot of video games out there for that were, pro wrestling, starting with pro wrestling.
Wait. Pause for the cause. Ladies and gentlemen, Shooting Shit is now changing for this segment. This is What Do You Play with DDJ. Go on.
Ooh, I like that. We need some kind of little intro theme, or something like that. What you play with DDJ. But because we go back to wrestling games, you start with pro wrestling for the Nintendo Entertainment System. There were tons of stuff that come out for like the Commodore 64. And, then you had games like the Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo, and all the way up to what we're getting now with the WWE 2K22, which is probably their best game in a number of years. But for me, when it comes to my favorite video games, it's there. I'm going to give you my top three, because there are three that out of all the years I've been playing video games, and a lot of them were pro wrestling video games, I'm going to give you my three favorite. My third favorite is WWF Royal Rumble for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I remember playing, I think it was Super WrestleMania or something, which was the first wrestling game that came out for the Super Nintendo. It was fun for what it was, but they didn't have their finishers in the game, which kind of stunk. Then comes the Royal Rumble. It's basically the same game, new guys, but they actually have their finishing moves on here. And I was like, I want this game. So I remember going to the store once with my mom. This was went to a grocery store, it was the Dominic's, which used to be a local chain in the Chicagoland area. And they had a little video store kind of by the exit. So my mom went to check out. And I was looking around the video store, and I see the game. So I'm like, Mom, they got the game here, So she went and signed up for a membership just so I could rent this game. Kind of a little just peek into how awesome my mom was. But that was a lot of fun. Number two is Wwf Russell Fest, which is one of my all-time favorite games to play in the arcade. You had, the Royal Rumble match, which you could have up to 6 guys in the ring. You were able to play. It was like you could be Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Demolition, Smash and Crush. Could be Jake the Snake, the Big Boss Man, Mr. Perfect, DiBiase, Sergeant Slaughter, and Earthquake. Then they had the Legion of Doom, who were your last guys that you'd fight for the tag titles in the match, but you could never play as them. But man, I couldn't tell you how many quarters I used to pump into that machine. And then my ultimate favorite video game of all time is WWF No Mercy for the Nintendo 64. I remember when this game came out, they were touting this was the first game to have the ladder matches. And this was the first game to have a lot of the they had the Radicals, Benoit, Guerrero, Saturn, and Malenko, their first game since leaving WCW and stuff. And it was just for the game for what it was, man. It was just amazing. And I remember my best friend, I called my best friend to tell him I got it, and he went and played hooky from work just so he could come over and play and stuff. So those are my three right there. What about you, Jovan?
I like your three, man. I like it a lot. Golly, that the arcade game is amazing. The Wrestle Fest game is, and then I still have one here at our local arcade shop. So that's cool to be able to play on free play. But that might make my number 3 actually. Yeah, I think that's my 3. 2 for me. I might go WWF No Mercy actually. No Mercy is my 2. For all the reasons that you stated, I mean, I've had all of the wrestling games that I could remember for almost every console that I've had. So I had the Warzone, I had, the crap ones that came out before.
Oh, God, those early WWF Acclaim games were so bad.
Terrible. But it felt like No Mercy was something completely different. It was, the backstage involvement was great. I kind of wish they'd bring that back. Whenever you have a false count anyway, I want to be able to go from the front to the back to fucking WWE NY or whatever it was back. What was it?
They have that with a couple of the more recent 2K games. You can go fight backstage.
Yeah, but it's not like they used to in No Mercy. No Mercy, you would go there and they had that little blue thing and you would walk to the back.
Uh-huh.
And then, if you were in the parking lot, you would walk to that thing and you're at WWE New York or NYC.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but no, now it's like you have to start your match there and you're there the whole time. No, I want to be able to go start in the ring and freaking take it to the back. So let's see. That's one of my issues about current games. But my number one, man, and this is purely because, the timing that it came out to where, my life was at the time.
Wait a minute. Was it The Simpsons Wrestling?
Was it The Simpsons Wrestling? It's actually a very underrated game. Simpsons Wrestling was fun.
Okay.
My number 1 is Here Comes the Pain.
Ooh.
I remember like it was yesterday, man. It was Christmas morning. My parents had
Is this another rock DVD story?
Kinda. Because this is the time that me and my dad both got in trouble.
Oh.
So this is the time where my parents were together. My parents were on and off for a while, and then they were just off. But this was a time when my parents came together. They got me the PlayStation, which was cool, the PS2. And the first game that I got with it was Here Comes the Pain. I'm a wrestling fan. That's amazing. That's, I really didn't want anything else. That was it. That was Christmas. Well.
Oh, this is Christmas. And what have you done?
Anyways, DJ, what you're singing, you're going to get us flagged.
Merry Christmas. Go on.
I'm not going to keep singing. So yeah, I mean, it was one of those days, like everything just kind of fell into place, and we had one of those old school big screen TVs, so it looked really cool to have the big screen TV and the PS2 playing, Here Comes the Pain. And the funny thing is like I wasn't supposed to have the video game yet. I was only supposed to get the PlayStation at that time and maybe like one other game. But somebody, we'll put it this way, Santa, when they were wrapping, placed the wrong game. So that game ended up being in the present instead of the other game that was meant to be in the present.
What was the other game? Do you not remember?
I think it was Blitz.
Oh, NFL Blitz.
to kind of give like a reasoning why, because if people are like, well, what are you talking about? Why would it have been switched? Why didn't you just get both? I'm Puerto Rican, and in Puerto Rican customs, we have Christmas, which is on the 25th, but then on the first week of January, we have Three Kings Day, or in Spanish is the Dia de los Reyes Magos, which is like for us the way we celebrate Three Kings Day is you put out hay and water for the camels of the three kings who visited Jesus at the birth, right?
Oh, okay.
And if you leave out, and it's like a little shoebox, you leave out hay and water, and the kings will leave you a gift for saving out water and food for the camels. So that was the mix up. The Blitz was supposed to be with the PlayStation on Christmas Day, and the wrestling game was supposed to be from like the three kings for being gracious for giving them food and water for the camels.
Okay.
So, yeah, that caused a little bit of an issue. Because I think my mom was thinking, it would have been a bigger hit if the wrestling game came later. But we all had
Yeah, but
fun
it was an
anyway.
honest mistake.
Yeah, it was an honest mistake that I don't think it was such an honest mistake because my dad is also a wrestling fan, and I think he wanted
So he
to
had a
play
little bit
it.
of an ulterior motive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wanted to play it as well because I can remember the first thing
I
we did
love it.
is we both played it against each other, and we were playing it for a good while. So I think he wanted to play it, so the switch happened.
Gotcha.
So we're at the hour. If you guys want to listen, you can. If you don't want to listen, turn it off now. I mean, hey, I'm not going to tell y'all what to do, but you're going to miss the best topic that we didn't plan for because honestly we forgot and I didn't think about it till just now. But DDJ,
Yo.
the PWI has released their top 500.
Yes, thank you. That's actually, I can't believe we missed that.
Number 1, your tribal chief Roman Reigns. Number 2, Kazuchika Okada. Number 3, CM Punk. Number 4, the Hangman Adam Page. Number 5, the almighty Bobby Lashley. Number 6, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. Number 7, the American Dragon Bryan Danielson. Number 8, El Hijo del Vikingo. Number 9, Big E. And number 10, the Octopus Jonathan Gresham. So, what do you think of the top 10 and what is your top 10?
For the most part, I think they did a good job with this. Like 1 through 5, I don't have an issue with. Like obviously Roman number 1 and Okada number 2, I'm good with. Punk being 3, I'm good with that. Hangman, being number 4, maybe a little bit lower down the list. Cody being at 5, absolutely. I think he was definitely top 10. And it's people got to remember that this evaluation period was from July of last year to June of this year. And you got to remember, Cody was still in AEW back, basically up until I think January or February is when he finished up. And then he obviously showed up at Mania and then had those 3 classics with Seth Rollins. So absolutely. Danielson, I don't know, because I just feel like during the evaluation period, he really kind of was infrequent and stuff. So I don't know if I would maybe put him in the top 10, top 20. Yeah, I could do that. But I don't think this year he was top 10. El Hijo del Vikingo, if I got it right. I don't know a lot about him. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's the one that won the Mega Championship after Kenny had to vacate it due to his injuries, correct?
Put it this way, he is AAA wrestling right now. He's taken over the entire brand. He is the guy.
And I have no issue with that. Big E, I love the guy, and I'm glad to see that it looks like he's going to be okay. Obviously, he may never wrestle again, but he's going to be okay, and he's going to be able to walk, which is more important than professional wrestling. Even he's definitely not top 10.
No.
Gresham, I don't know. I would say if he's not in the top 10, he's also in the top 20. The biggest issue that I have actually, I have two people that should be in the top 10 that I don't feel like that, they should have been in the top 10 that aren't. The obvious first one is John Mossley. I don't know how you don't put him in the top 10.
All right.
Because I think during the evaluation period, I don't think he lost maybe one match, I believe, if that. Other than that, I don't think he lost the whole time. And then the other guy who I'm absolutely flabbergasted, because I think I've gone on record to say that he's doing some of his best work, is your reigning defending IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the Switchblade, Jay White. How was he not in the top 10?
That's a good question, man.
And if you're going to ask me who I would, if I were to put those two in, who would I take out? Honestly, I would probably take out Danielson and Big E and put those two in.
Oof. Yeah, Jay White ranked 23rd.
That's a crime that he's not even in the top 20.
Yeah.
Did you happen to see where Ospreay ranked?
Will Ospreay ranked 27.
That's a crime too. I'm sorry, but yeah, they got most of the top 10 right, but I mean, and this is what's really cool about this, and then I'll let you, I don't want to say too much more and stuff, because I know you want to give your take so we can get out of here. But it's just, this is the thing about this list is it sparks so much debate and conversation every year, and that's what's really cool about this.
I love it, man. I love when the list comes out because I like having these fights and these conversations, like you said.
Oh, there's no fighting here. We're all love here.
All love.
All love. All love.
Anyways, my top 10. My number one is not Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Roman is booked for that period between Vince's booking and Triple H's handcuff booking of him. It's the same reason why I'd never give it to Super Cena when he was on top. He's being booked like this. He's not the best wrestler. He's being booked and he's part-timing. So, my number one, Will Ospreay.
Ooh.
It's a crime that he's as low as he is on the list.
I agree there.
My number two, somebody who doesn't get enough respect in wrestling in general, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander.
Yes, thank you. That's another. I believe he was 12th, I think, or something like that.
Yes.
If he would be the other guy that I'm honestly shocked, because he spent most of this evaluation period as a champion, because he was either X Division or he was the world champion.
Yeah, it makes no sense. 3, I'll give Roman Reigns right there. 4, I have Okada. 5 and 6 to me are interchangeable. I have 5 at Hangman Page, but I could very much have Hangman at 6 and have Jon Moxley as 5. 7, I do give it to Cody Rhodes. Have him a little lower just because of the small break of time between AEW to WWE. Number 9. Oh, Radio, the Deathmatch King.
No, it's not Oh Radio. It's Always Ready.
Ready. Yeah, I like Oh Radio. But I have to give it to Cardona, man. He went on a belt collector mode of his own. And the fact that he doesn't get enough love for that is kind of a killer.
Well, I think the reason being is because he's doing it, and this is no meant to be no slight on the indie scene, because you and I are fans of the independent scene. I mean, hell, we praise the hell out of the GCW show, but it's more like if he was doing this and like he had some time in WWE or AEW and he was doing this, he would easily be top 10.
Yeah. So give me Matt Cardona. Number 9, I'm gonna keep Hijo del Vikingo in the top 10 just because, like I said, the man's been dominant. He is AAA right now. If you haven't been able to see him, you need to give him a watch. The guy is just brute strength meets agility that makes no sense. It kind of reminds me of watching Jacob Fatu, the way he moves around, but this dude is just a beast, freaking beast of a man. 10 is where I'll place CM Punk. CM Punk is my 10. And the reason I have him so far low, during the review period, he had those stinkers when he first came back. And if anybody tells me CM Punk's first 3 matches weren't rough, I say you're lying. He didn't get good until about right before the dog collar match which was a breath of fresh air to see.
You didn't like his match with Eddie Kingston?
I think that was the match with the Miz GTO or GTS.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
So he didn't really become true form until the dog collar match or right before the dog collar match. So I'm not going to give him third ranking, but I'll give him top 10 for coming back. The nostalgia act. I know that's what got it for him was the nostalgia, having him at 3 right now, but I'm dropping him to 10.
Okay. It's not a bad list there.
All right. We've gone a little over, excuse me, an hour. 10 minutes over. Give you guys
choked up about it.
I am. It's the matcha and this matcha green tea thing. It's a little powdery sometimes, matcha.
Matcha man.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be your matcha man.
That's my next cosplay. I'm gonna be the matcha man Randy Savage.
No, you should be the matcha man Jovan Manacho. Make it your own.
I'll
make it your own, man. Make it your own.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it my own. I'm gonna become the matcha man. Oh, and with that, I want to thank everybody for being here with us on this wild ride. If you stayed for the additional 10 minutes, we appreciate you. Kindly leave us a message, a thank you, a comment, save it, give us an up, give us a follow, ring that bell, do whatever you do, all that other
Scissor us.
bullshit. Scissor us. Joey K, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we're all together so we can get all of our thoughts out there. But guys, shooting shit's over. Go home. We're done. Why are you still here? That's DDJ. I'm the hot one. Thank you to the girls in accounting, the guys out there in catering, and thank you to the Johners Podcast for most of the time supporting us without booting us like you didn't suspend me. I appreciate it. Thank you to the Johners. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you, AEW, WWE, and everybody else that we cover. And we're out.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow the show on Twitter at SHOOTINSHT, and thanks for listening.